All right. Good morning, everyone. I am joined today. My name is Dave Fellows. I'm the GM of Ola's Order Business. I'm joined today with Leslie Keys from Olga's Kitchen and JP Thomas from Honeygrow, and we'll do a little more intro later, as well as Nate Torres, our Senior Product Manager for Catering. And we're going to talk a little bit about digital catering and the sort of rise of discussion and interest and really business results coming from that channel right now for a lot of brands. Certainly a hot topic at Olo. And we have JP and Leslie are kind of catering experts who can speak to some of their experience as well. We're going to have kind of just an open discussion, but we're going to organize it loosely around three themes. The state of restaurant catering today, optimizing efficiency for catering programs, and gaining a more detailed understanding of catering guests as part of your overall catering strategy. And obviously we see, a role for Olo in some of that, but also that picking the right technology partner is just crucial to that catering journey. So we'll obviously touch on some of the key points of that choice. All right, so with that, I think we can dive in, maybe start with intros. I'll hand it off to JP first to give us a quick intro, and we'll keep going from there.
Yeah, thank you for the intro. JP Thomas here. I work with Honeygrow, which is a restaurant company currently in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic region that serves stir fry and salad and honey bars, which is a kind of a fruit dessert cup. And I'm excited to be here today to talk about catering and the catering program that we've been successfully growing for only a few years now, but it's doing great.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leslie Keys. I'm from Olga's Kitchen. I've been with Olga's for almost 3 years now. Prior to that, I was in catering for the last decade, and really excited to start this discussion today.
Nate, quick intro.
Yeah, good to be here. My name is Nate Torres. I am the Senior Product Manager for Catering at Olo. I've been with Olo for a little over 4 years now. I've been really focusing on the catering space for about 3 of those years. So super excited to be here with everyone today to dive in and really to learn more and just talk more about catering.
So, well, thank you all so much, first and foremost, for spending your time with us today and give us your insights and expertise. We definitely appreciate it. Nate, take it away with some of our first questions.
Yeah, thank you. So, as Dave mentioned, we have 3 themes that we're really talking about today. And the first theme that I really wanted to dive into, again, was kind of like the state of the catering space. So to preface, just to take us all back down memory lane, before the pandemic, catering was seeing, steady year-over-year growth, right? And the market was at around $64 billion in 2019. Enter 2020, and the pandemic, catering business, almost comes to a complete stop. And, and we're not just seeing the growth anymore, right? As the pandemic tapers off, we're starting to see folks coming back into the office. We're starting to see social gatherings again. That means catering is starting to pick back up, which is great. And now, going to 2023, last year, we saw that the catering market was at around $72 billion. And now projections are showing the catering will grow by over $50 billion over the next 9 years, which is huge. So demand is clearly outpacing pre-pandemic levels now, and the digital expectations are really starting to push brands to take advantage of this highly profitable revenue channel. And a couple more stats to hit on here before going to our next piece, which is, we're seeing that the average catering ordered is around $350, which is about 10x of what we're seeing for takeout, which is $35. And 74% of catering orders are digital, and 70% of catering orders occur between Tuesday and Thursday before noon. So with that, I want to jump in with my first question, and Leslie, going to point this to you. I would love to hear from you. Why is catering important to businesses?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I think that anytime you get an extra revenue stream, it's good. But catering also brings the opportunity to increase your servers or anybody that can deliver orders, their revenue as well with the tips and the delivery. So not only are you impacting the restaurant itself, you're also impacting the people that work for you in a really positive way.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate that. And JP, want to go over to you to see if there's anything else you wanted to add on to that as well. Why is catering important to businesses?
Yeah, I mean, certainly here at Honeygrow, we're growing really quickly. We're opening a lot of new locations, and that includes growing into new markets. And often those new markets, we don't have the brand awareness that we have in our existing markets. So for us, catering is a really great way to introduce ourselves really quickly to large groups of people. It's also can be in existing markets and new markets, a pretty unique way to strengthen the relationship that we have with our guests. It's a whole different level of responsibility that a guest is entrusting us with when they place a catering order.
Yeah, definitely hear you on that. That's something we've heard, in a lot of different conversations too, that, every catering order is a high stakes order and can obviously lead to a lot of additional growth there. So very much resonating with what we're hearing as well.
And JP, have you ever found a way to track that that introduction through a large catering order turning into mealtime orders later, that the sort of guest introduction and then conversion?
We've certainly tried over the years various methods of doing that, whether it was when we get a large sports team that places a catering order, including a flyer in each of those meals, and seeing what the bounce back rate on those coupons or promo codes might be. And we certainly had a lot of success with that. Because especially in this post-pandemic world where we still are seeing a pretty high number of guests wanting to order individual orders as a catering order, which we didn't even have on our menu before 2020, but still remains fairly popular today and easy to attach a trackable discount coupon to each of those to see. So we've tried and had some success, but nothing concrete and evergreen.
So,
It's great to hear that it did translate though, in the test you ran.
Great. And kind of pivoting, actually, JP, and staying with you for this next question as well, I'm curious to know, from your perspective, what you've seen at Honeygrow and also in other experiences, what's currently happening in the industry today?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say I'm an expert on the industry, but more so just what's happening here at Honeygrow. But certainly we've just seen the catering segment completely get turned on its head in 2020, and it's definitely not returned to whatever normal was before, and continues to evolve and find its new place in today's world. And I think as with any of us and all of us in any industry, everyone's looking to do more with less, right? So even the folks ordering have larger roles in the companies they work at and are still trying to get these catering orders placed, or the folks that were ordering catering before aren't even there anymore, and it's being thrown on new positions. And so it's becoming more and more important that the processes around placing an order or reordering an order are as easy as they can be to accommodate these individuals who are fantastically overwhelmed already with their day-to-day responsibilities and are being asked to plan this event and order this food for 40 people. And so, as with any of us, everyone's being asked to do more with less. And that includes the guests that are ordering catering from us. And so we're definitely seeing that stress and trying to help those guests out as best we can. And I would say in general, just looking at the restaurant industry, we've seen this huge rush to implement AI solutions in every aspect of the business, whether it's something that our guests interact with or something that our teams interact with. And I'm really excited personally to see how that will play into the future of catering. What artificial intelligence will be leveraged for our guests that are placing catering orders, or our teams that are receiving them and approving them, and it'll be really interesting.
Very cool. And Leslie, over to you with the same question. From what you're seeing with Olga's too, what's happening in the industry or with catering within the Olga space?
Yeah, I think with coming out of the pandemic, you almost get to refresh what you want your catering to look like. So as Olga's is taking on catering, we are definitely taking on a lot of growth with it, and we've seen a lot of customers go to off-premise, both with catering and their in-house orders. So this is kind of our chance to get out there in front of people and make sure that we're setting our standard really high and grabbing that market share as people are kind of going more towards off premise and just revamping our name and getting out there. So it was almost like a refresh with the system, and just if you're out there marketing it right, you can really kind of grab hold of those sales and skyrocket your catering.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, definitely hear you on that. We're hearing a lot of the same too. So, just like great to hear that kind of validation of it. The growth potential's there. It is growing. It's just kind of capturing that. So absolutely makes sense. And so, Leslie, actually sticking with you with my next question here, I'd love to hear, how did you launch catering and why did you opt for a digital catering solution to kind of, follow up on what you were just talking about there?
Yeah, like I said, I've been with Olga's for just under 3 years now, and coming into the brand, there wasn't a digital aspect of it at all, other than with a third party partner. And so we first launched it through a call system and a third party, but then we were able to get it onto our mealtime channel with Olo. And that was huge. Our orders went from, a couple a day in the restaurants to 4 or 5 or 6 Olo orders, which is amazing. We're up 50% right now, so that's super awesome. And then just being able to kind of utilize Olo in multiple different ways has been extremely helpful. But it was a very slow launch until we got onto the digital realm.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're hearing, again, I think that's kind of, par with a lot of what we're seeing out there is, kind of dipping your toes into the water for catering. You don't want to just dive right in because obviously it comes with a lot of implications there. So yeah, definitely hear you on that, and really interesting to hear like how you kind of approached that before kind of ramping up more. And JP, also want to hand this to you as well. How did you launch catering, with Honeygrow, and why did you eventually opt for that digital catering solution?
Sure. Yeah, when we launched catering, we had already seen 100% digital ordering for our guests, right? Whether a guest is ordering through our in-house kiosks, our mobile app, our web ordering, or a third-party platform, they're all ordering digitally. It's all fully integrated into our kitchen. And so having these platforms that created this expectation that catering would have the same. We wanted to stay digital, and so that was really the reason why we wanted it to be a digital catering solution when we originally launched. But obviously, when we were originally launching catering, I think back in 2019, we had no catering orders, and so going out and purchasing a digital platform for catering didn't make financial sense. So we really leveraged third-party platforms early on to launch our catering program, and it wasn't the most profitable approach, but it allowed us to launch and then slowly implement additional solutions. And so that's kind of where we're at today, is excited to be moving those third-party processes and orders over into Catering Plus, and start to leverage that technology to automate more of the processes that our teams are doing today, to free them up to execute better orders that are on time and accurate and better, higher quality, because that's what I want them to spend their time doing, not ringing in orders and closing out house accounts and removing tax exempts and all the things they have to do. So I think digital just allows us to focus on what's actually important.
Yeah, makes sense. Definitely hear you on, reducing that operational overhead so you could focus on like perfectly executing on every catering order every time, kind of going back to what we said earlier too, of just every catering order is a high stakes order. You want to make sure you execute perfectly because it could be an opening for more, adoption and just, customer growth down the road. So very, very cool to hear that. Well, this next, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, Nate, but underlining something you said, I've been interested, like with Catering Plus, we've been talking a lot about catering at Ola lately, and we've had a lot of customers who are not doing, they haven't operationalized catering today, but they're very interested in trying it and getting things going. And it's interesting that the Catering Plus seems to be giving them an opportunity to try to launch that direct channel right up front, which is great to see. Like I think it makes a lot of sense that you may want to do that in tandem with some third party, but kind of getting your own processes built from day one will help operationalize that quite a bit.
I would agree, because it's certainly difficult, and we've seen this on our mealtime channels, to influence how a guest order after they've already ordered. So if you launch with a third-party marketplace for catering, I suspect that then getting that regular guest who's been ordering for 3 years from that third-party marketplace to order from your new channel to be quite costly or not possible. I would agree that launching with an in-house catering ordering solution will set you up better for long-term success.
Yeah, love to hear that. And that's actually a good segue into, kind of the next area that I want to dive into deeper with both of you, which is kind of learnings and also, kind of more understandings of maybe some of the pain points or hurdles you've encountered, and also how you've kind of grown from that. So from Olo, when we're thinking about catering here, and also through the multiple conversations we've had with, both of you and also many of our other brands, we've observed a lot of obvious pain points out there in the space, and also other offerings out in the catering space as well, and also some of those inefficiencies and how those can impact, catering orders, especially because they're so high touch and there's just so much operational overhead, as we've discussed, that comes along with that. So with keeping up with demand, brands can experience these growing pains, I think, as both of you just kind of alluded to, and that's why we're starting out a little slower and then kind of ramping up. So as you're growing in this space, and you're kind of growing into seeing these pain points, I think, as you've also mentioned, if you're not evolving the technology in your business, it can definitely become more apparent to you and more something that you have to address. So we know these, issues exist, and I want to dive into these a little more. So when you think about catering, what are your biggest pain points? And JP, want to kind of keep this with you. Would love to hear from you on what those pain points are.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about catering and pain points, a lot of them were recently removed because of implementation of Catering Plus, for sure. So I would say that the first two that kind of come to mind that are remaining would certainly be related to delivery. We use Dispatch for delivery, and are really lucky to have some really great relationships with some of our dispatch partners that help us make sure that the right drivers are being assigned to our catering orders, not just regular drivers, but those that specialize in catering. But even still, no delivery solution is going to be perfect. And there's always some occasional delivery delays or reliability issues or breakdowns in communication that do still occur. And obviously, as we've been talking about quite a bit, these catering guests are just so much more sensitive to any issues, especially delays. Their meeting is starting at X time, and so they need to eat at Y time. And so if you're showing up 20 minutes late, that's a lot more painful than when you're delivering a single guest's order, who tends to be more flexible with their timing. So delivery is, and probably always will be, a pain point. And I would say the second for us is still capacity management. Our current catering solution and catering platform doesn't talk to or see what orders exist in our other channels. So if there's a lot of guests ordering at the kiosk and the mobile app and the web ordering, there's nothing that's really going to limit an additional large catering order from coming in when we're already really busy in the restaurant. And so that capacity management is still a struggle for us, and the reverse, right? Because we do put a limit on catering orders, if we are slow in the restaurant, I would love for more catering orders to be able to come through. So we do look forward to continuing to partner with Olo and hopefully finding a solution to this in the future.
Yeah. It makes sense. And, definitely here on the capacity management piece, we have being responsive to what's happening in store and also making sure that the digital is aware of that and vice versa is definitely a key kind of improvement there. And actually, before I forget, do you want to move back to something you said with delivery, which is, you said that's always going to be probably a pain point just because there's there's variables that are outside of your control. With how you've, rolled out catering and how you're continuing to improve on that, is there anything that you've kind of done to help mitigate issues with delivery? How you've started to remove some of those variables that can, negatively impact the delivery experience with catering orders?
Yeah, our catering team is really on top of it and really great. And they've done an awesome job of identifying some of the key delivery partners, whether it's DoorDash or we partner a lot on catering with Deliver That. And they have a great relationship with the team over at Deliver That and our reps over at DoorDash. So we're able to drill into any issues that do happen to hopefully make sure they don't happen again. Whether it's updating the notes that we're sending with orders to the drivers or working with the partners to make sure the right drivers are being assigned. We've seen a lot of improvement and just better communication between our team and the delivery partners. And over time, things have gotten exponentially better. But there's always a human element that's going to make it not perfect. And traffic and weather and just things that we'll never be able to control. But I would say it's better today than it's ever been because of dispatch and because of the strength of the relationship we've developed with our partners on dispatch.
Yeah, it's great to hear that you've got that communication, with those DSPs specifically, just to see how you can really just expedite that whole process. So it's great to hear that. And Leslie, I want to pivot over to you as well, just to hear about, as you've been rolling out catering more broadly across your organization, what are your biggest pain points with Olga's?
Yeah, I have to agree with JP. Delivery has always been an issue. When I first signed on with Olga's, I think my two biggest issues was, how are we going to get the order to the restaurant and how are we going to get the order to the guest? So, being able to have DSP take orders is amazing, but also with Catering Plus and middleware provider Cartwheel that we have implemented, we now can still be the face of our own deliveries if we have a team member that can go out and deliver. So it's really an amazing program because if our team members can go out and deliver, they have the option first. They deliver the order. We're the face of, our business. And if for some reason they don't, then it's just a click of the button and a DSP driver is assigned and they come in and deliver the order for us. And again, we're able to pick those providers that we'd like to work with. And, we stay really close to that, just like JP was saying. And then we also work with your switchboard option. So, we have the immediate online ordering for the guests through Olo. But let's say you have that guest that still wants to call in and talk to a person. We're answering those calls. And instead of having to create a spreadsheet that you're sending to the restaurant and then call the restaurant with payment to make sure you're staying compliant, I can now use Switchboard, ring in that order, and it immediately pops up on their system, just like any other online ordering is. So that was a huge step for us and took away a huge pain point for us, all the way around solving those two problems.
That's great to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that, having a solution to digitize those called orders and get them to restaurant just removed a lot, again, of that operational overhead. Just sounds like it just streamlines everything and also removes potential for error and things getting lost along the way. So it's great to hear that. And that's actually, in addition to what you're just talking about with using dispatch and switchboard to overcome some of those pain points that you were just talking about, what are some other must-haves in a catering solution for you, Leslie?
We have already touched on house accounts and tax exempt, but being able to also ring in house account orders. Those are really important orders to us because a lot of times having that direct billing is how you become a preferred partner for a lot of the industries. Someone would much rather order via, email or calling you with a quick code rather than having to have that credit card ready and deal with that. So having the option of bringing in house account orders and having that filter through is amazing, as well as, your tax exempt businesses. Just being able to have that streamlined as well is something that is really important for the future for Olga's Catering.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's great to hear about what those needs are there. And JP, same question to you. What are must-haves for you for a catering solution?
A lot of them are extremely similar to what Leslie said, but I would say that at the very start, we were looking for a platform that had an API that we could leverage so that our mobile app could place orders via this ordering solution. So that was really important to us because we did want to build catering order into our mobile app, and we were able to with Olo. But beyond that, a lot of the same as what Leslie mentioned, accommodating delivery, having dispatch, supporting all the same payment methods we have on our main channels, including gift cards, supporting house accounts, tax exempt ordering, quote management, and a remote PCI compliant payment option. Sending that link out to allow the guests to pay without us having to do the big no-nos of taking numbers, credit card numbers over the phone. And so we wanted to make sure that the experience was great for the guests, but also secure. So those were very important.
Excellent. And, in addition to what we've just talked about with, pain points with catering and also what you're using, like what's critical for you in a solution, kind of just thinking about the step beyond that, like what does catering success look like to you, JP?
Catering success, I mean, at a very simple level, success in catering is just when the guest experience from ordering to dining and eating their meal meets or exceeds the standards we've set for an in-house experience. We want that guest to be happy and to then order again, whether it's as a group or as an individual. So at the most simple of levels is a happy diner that returns.
Real quick follow-up on that. We recently were talking with some customers. They were talking about the difficulty in actually reaching all the guests in that order to get their sentiment, about you may hopefully you get the reorder, and that's a great thing to key off, but that you may not know, the kind of group's experience. Have you tried anything there to get more reach on your kind of guest feedback for catering?
Yeah, we certainly send a survey out to the person who placed the order after each order, asking a variety of questions about their experience that are catering specific as a catering specific survey. But anyone that ordered directly through us, not from a third-party marketplace, also gets an email from our catering team asking how the experience was and what could have been better, and just checking in with them. And we do find that we actually get more feedback through that direct outreach than the survey, and just the, hey, how did everything go yesterday? How did everything go this morning? Could we have done anything better for you? Let us know when you're ready to order again. Conversations get a lot of responses and a lot of candid feedback and a lot of positive feedback.
Are you able to log that somewhere today, or is it just sort of at least you're getting it in a constant stream?
Yeah, we have a spreadsheet that we log all the feedback in so that we can reference it. And obviously the survey feedback is in our survey system along with all of our mealtime feedback as well. But as far as the direct outreach feedback, it's a manual, throw in a spreadsheet, reference it type thing.
It's great to hear that. And Leslie, I want to make sure I ask you the same question too. What does catering success look like for you and for Olga's?
Yeah, I mean, I think JP touched on it really well. We want to make sure that, as more businesses get with catering, we are still the business that's chose. So you have to make that a really easy process for the guest. A lot of our catering guests are medical reps that don't always get to eat the food themselves. So having an easier process is more important sometimes than what they're even ordering. So I think that them being able to, click on favorite orders and just reorder, or even guests that want to reach out via, a catering call center person or, the catering manager like myself, having that just easy access, and then us being able to flow that order through Olo and have, the quoted order price match the Olo price that is actually for the order is important. And that can be human error sometimes. If you're just giving a spreadsheet to the restaurant, they're not always ringing it in exactly how it should be. We want them to, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So like I said, with Switchboard, we are eliminating that. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're the restaurant that they're choosing because we have a high standard. They know what they're going to get, and it's easy for them.
I'm curious, Leslie, to hear for Olga's as well, how you're collecting some of that guest feedback and continuing to use that for your program.
Yep, anybody that orders through catering, the next morning I send them a thank you email, and just ask them if they have any feedback, and then just reminding them of any offers that we are currently promoting. So it's very similar to JP's, and it is all pretty much manual right now.
I know it's a manual first of all, like great metrics to kind of, gauge the success of catering, right? Like you want to make sure you have that repeat customer. We want to make sure they're coming back and selecting, your brands as, the places that they want to order from again. Leslie, I know you just said that's a manual process for you, but as you're using that kind of like as your gauge for success, are you seeing a lot of response to that? Are you seeing that you're getting those return customers coming back through that reach out, through that engagement, to just follow up on those catering orders?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's one of the biggest reasons that catering is growing as it is. Just guests want their feedback to be heard. We act on that feedback. And they want to be updated with what the promotions are, but they don't want to be overwhelmed. So just kind of going back and letting them know what's going on and what they can save, but not peppering them every day with it is super important. So I think that those touchback emails, really help.
Excellent. Love to hear that. And so that kind of takes me to, the last theme that Dave touched on, earlier, which is, looking at not only looking at like what's successful for your brand, but also, kind of like what's the right partner for you as you're pursuing catering and growing catering. So, at Olo, we know, through, again, conversations with the two of you, many of our other brands, and also just through our observations, catering, it comes with a lot of complexities, and especially when you're managing that alongside your, individual takeout orders. And so we're definitely striving to try and, we're creating an operationally efficient platform that, helps to make guests feel like they're regulars, but also to help you reduce those operational overhead that comes with catering, so that, I think as JP mentioned, gives the staff more time to focus on each catering order and execute perfectly every time, to make sure that guest is coming back and it's a regular. So, with that, Leslie, want to kind of stay with you for a second to hear, why did you opt for Catering Plus solution for Olga's?
I mean, it just really made sense. We already had it for our mealtime platform. And when we did launch on the mealtime platform, we had a lot of success there. But the driving factor for me was really just being able to integrate Cartwheel, and again, being able to ring in through Switchboard. And it just took the process of what I was already doing for the guest and, just made it so much more streamlined for both myself and my ops team, them not having to ring in those orders or stress and call around if they don't have a driver. We've took a very big stance of wanting to be the face of our business. But when you can't be, having to find someone else to deliver it is sometimes difficult. So now that that's at a touch of a button, it's a brand new realm for us. And then with integrating the middleware provider, we are also able to let our guests know when their delivery system or when their delivery is being delivered, which is a great system for them and eases their mind knowing that their order is on the way. So just Olo being able to provide all of those fixes for us that we were really looking for, it was a no-brainer for Olga's.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that was a no-brainer, and also happy to hear that again. It's just like it's reducing clicks, it's reducing papers flying around the restaurant. It's just like everything is going to the right place at the right time. So it's love to hear that. And JP, want to pose the same question to you. You know, why did you opt for Catering Plus solution for Honeygrow?
Yeah, we already had such a strong, wide-reaching partnership with Olo, with all of our kiosk orders, mobile app orders, or web ordering orders, and third-party orders going through Rails, plus leveraging Olo Pay as both our card present and card not present solution in our restaurants and through digital ordering. So we've been such strong partnership that's been so successful so far with Olo that it really just made sense to continue to expand upon that relationship and that partnership and dive in with Catering Plus. You know, we like having this unified platform where everything is going through Olo because it makes it easier for our operators to 86 items, to process refunds, to find their orders, to instead of having multiple platforms in multiple places they have to log into every day and look and retrieve orders and approve orders, and it just is a simplification that is quite beautiful when you've been an operator that certainly 5 or 6 years ago had a spaceship of tablets and you know 5 or 6 different systems to log into to 86 something or refund something or look up an order, and so being able to get that one partner that can do it all and do it all well was something that was very attractive to us.
I love what you said with spaceship of tablets. I don't think I've ever heard them described that way. I think I'm going to steal that from you. So thank you for that. But also happy that you're not dealing with the spaceship anymore. So I'm glad to see that that's something in the past.
There's a control center on a spaceship.
I could visualize it. You painted a very clear picture for me there. You know, JP, you were just talking about again, you know, the spaceship there that you were managing on the back end for just, you know, help you just trying to manage all these operations and how that's been, you know, kind of relieved now. But I want to pivot over to hear about like, how do you believe Catering Plus is going to, you know, revamp or revolutionize, you know, catering for your guests as well?
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect that us leveraging Catering Plus is going to increase sales and lower our costs. You know, at its core, we many years ago when I joined Honeygrow, we had a member of our executive team that used to say all the time and really instilled in me that you are what you do not automate. You are what you do not automate. And for us, Catering Plus is going to automate a bunch of processes. It's going to save countless man hours that our catering sales team is currently spending on tax exempt, doing that manually, house accounts, doing that manually, et cetera. It's going to free up quite a bit of time for our accounting team that's had a nightmare of sales reconciliation for catering because of mistakes made when teams ring them in or failed integrations from third-party platforms or whatever the cause may be. So at the end of the day, it's going to save time, which will save money. It's going to move orders from more expensive platforms to our native platforms, which will save money. And that freed up time is certainly going to allow us to spend time on sales building activities, which will increase our sales. So like I said, it's going to increase sales and lower costs, and can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, sounds like a win-win. And Leslie, want to ask the same question of you as well. You know, how do you believe Catering Plus is going to, you know, revamp or revolutionize, you know, catering for your guests at Olga's?
I mean, I have to completely agree with JP with everything he said. I mean, we're looking for the same thing here. And I really feel like we're on the right path to get it, as well as just, you know, making it a little bit more streamlined for our guests. Even in, something silly like requesting a receipt for your order, prior to launching the system was emailing the restaurant, asking them for the receipt, and then emailing it to the guest, to where now it's just a click of a button away. So yeah, I completely agree with JP.
You are what you don't automate. It's just such a
Yeah.
great line. I feel like I'm going to make a Zoom screen background and share that within Olo. It's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to hear too, again, that like, being able to send out something with the click of a button obviously reduces overhead for you, but also again, able to give the guest exactly what they want in a timely manner just kind of reduces anxiety all around, which is great to hear as well. And, this kind of takes me to taking us towards the end here. Would just love, Leslie, for you to talk about, what does your brand expect in 2024? And how does an enterprise grade solution prepare you for what's to come?
I mean, I think that what we're already seeing with the growth of, launching an online service is exceptional. We're growing year over year at such an advanced rate. And, I'd like to keep that going. We are currently up 50% this year, which is huge. And that momentum, of course, I want to grow year over year. I like my job. I'd like to keep it. Um, so, so I think that that's, our main goal right now.
That's incredible growth to hear about too. It just sounds like, what we were talking about earlier with the projected growth of catering, and, the catering market just sounds like Olga's is riding that wave and you're helping them to get there. So it's great to hear about that growth. And JP, want to ask the same question of you as well, like what does your brand expect in 2024, and how does an enterprise grade solution, prepare you for what's to come in 2024?
Growth. Whether it's our already impressively growing catering program or company growth, even more so. We have 15 new locations opening this year, and continuing to see increased growth in future years. So having a reliable solution in place, not just for catering, but for all of our platforms, is almost mandatory to make it so that that growth can be successful, so that our operators can truly focus on what's important, rather than troubleshooting things that don't work, or doing things and processes that could be automated. So for us, our teams need to be able to focus on training people, developing people, making sure that those people can consistently deliver an extraordinary experience to our guests and our catering customers. So the platforms need to be reliable and need to work, and we need to get them all implemented now, because as we get bigger and bigger, changing only becomes harder.
Definitely true. Well, thank you both so much again for all the expertise and the insights you've shared, and just going through some of these pain points. It was interesting to see so many were shared. Olo is just humbled and honored to partner with you on this catering journey. We hope we can keep providing a solution that helps you accelerate growth for the channel and overall. For anybody who's watching this, if you're interested in catering and learn some things here, hopefully, please don't hesitate to reach out. Ola would love to talk to you about catering, and we welcome those conversations. Yeah, thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.